Hey guys, Kenny here, Ken Small Engine Repair. Hope everyone's having a great weekend. It's nice out here in New England. A little cold, but nice and sunny. Anyway, had a customer call me up a few weeks ago and he said, Kenny, I had this Kohler K301 in a John Deere 212. Okay, K301, 12 horsepower Kohler. K-Series, he said it was rebuilt a while ago. I never used it. He said, I put it in the tractor, smoking like a freight train. He said, brand new rebuild. What's going on? His name is Al. And I said, Al, bring it by. I know exactly what's wrong with it. Take us about an hour. We'll fix it. And this guy lives about an hour away. So he came down and I fixed it. You know, I told him what it was. I showed him what it was. And he's like, how'd you know that? I said, because this is the secret that a lot of guys don't realize when they're rebuilding small engines, or basically any four-stroke for that matter, is the oil expander ring. The third ring down, which is your oil control ring, okay? If you don't install it properly, depending on the style that you get, it's gonna smoke like a freight train. Let me show you what I mean. When you get a set of rings, and I'll show you two different styles because there's literally 3 or 4 different styles of oil control ring, which is the bottom set of rings on a engine. Okay. When you go into that third oil groove in your piston, all right, you get these thin rings and you get an expander, okay? Now, this type of expander is common in probably 90% of all the engines out there that use 4 strokes. But here's the problem with it, okay? That expander, if you notice, see on the very end of it, you got these 2 little butt ends. I don't know if it's clear in there, all right? See how they butt together? When you put this together, all right, and it's sitting like this, you have a lip on the top and a lip on the bottom. So you put your expander in, you butt the expander, and then your rings, you'll see the little lips on top and bottom here. Ooh, where are you? The little lips on top and bottom, the ring, one goes on the top, one goes on the bottom. This holds them under tension so that it scrapes the cylinder and scrapes the oil back down into the crankcase. What happens if they're installed that way, okay, you don't have any tension on the rings. The rings have no force pushing them out, and the oil will go up past the second ring. I mean, you have a smoke show, freight train. All right. Now, Kohler, there are a few different designs of rings, okay? Some of the original rings before these came out, the oil control ring, instead of having that butting thing, Kohler actually came out with a set of these where on the very end, there was a yellow and a black plastic button that kept these from overlapping, okay? I've only seen it on a few of the older Kohlers, but it was a great idea, okay? Now, I've got a set of rings here from an 8 horsepower, a smaller engine, but it's a different style of oil control ring that goes into that third groove, and I'm gonna show you. And this ring, I don't know if it performs as well as a 3-piece ring, but it's designed not to collapse or has no chance of collapsing. If you notice, it's a 1-piece oil ring, okay? If you look at the section of it, all right, there are no 3 pieces, but what it gives you is an expander. This expander goes into that third groove, and it's a tight fit in there, and you can see it's not round. It's got all these undulations on it. So when you put on this ring, it'll hold pressure outward so that this scrapes the oil back into the crankcase. This type of ring for first-time builders, if you can get this type of ring, I recommend it, okay? There's nothing wrong with the type of ring expander like this. There's nothing wrong with this, okay? There's nothing wrong with it. But I've seen them go in and run for a while, and then something happens where it does that, and it's a freight train smoke show. And I've seen it happen many, many times. I went through my graveyard of Kohler pistons and rods because every time I rebuild an engine, I keep these. I have literally tons of them hanging from my rafters, okay? Every time especially a Kohler K-Series, I always keep the piston and rod because you never know. Sometimes pistons can be reused if they're not that bad. Rods can definitely be reused if they're not that bad because they do get expensive. And I like using the OEM rods versus an aftermarket if I can. But this one here, it's got that type of expander, okay? And I went through all the pistons hanging. I got about 30 or 40 of them hanging. 99% of them or that type of expander. But I did find on this engine here, and I always mark what they are. This is a 12 horsepower, and if you look, that's got the solid oil ring, okay, with the expander in it, okay? It's the solid one with the expander. So you'll see, depending on the age of the engine, will it have the overlappable expander, or will it have the solid oil control ring, the third ring, like this? These, for first-time builders, I prefer these, but these you're going to get in 90% of the cases. The problem with these, though, too, if you look at the instructions, I'll show you instruction that came with the set of rings. All right, and this is an instruction sheet that comes with 99% of all the rings you get, especially if it's aftermarket. Kohler has some good instructions, but basically you get this set, and here's what's funny. You look at this set, all right, look at the third ring. Does it show anywhere where it says to put it on there? Now, in the instructions, it says put the thin rings on the top and on the bottom, but it doesn't say avoid the overlap, all right? When you're assembling these, make sure that before you put your ring compressor onto the piston, that these are not overlapped. 99% of the time on fresh engine rebuilds on 4-strokes, this causes the smoke show. So I just wanted to show you that, guys. A lot of guys wrote to me and said, Kenny, oh, you got bad valve guides, you got bad this, you got bad that, I said, nope. And I told everyone, what do you think it is? And the guy said, bad rings. Well, yes and no. It's not that the rings themselves are bad, it's that the expander isn't doing its job because either it was installed improperly or somehow it worked its way to an overlap, all right? That's it for now, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Hey, only about 15% of you subscribe to my channel, and a lot of you watch it. I'm coming up on 5,000 subs, so if you're not subscribed, please check it, all right? It's going to help me out, helps out the channel. I really appreciate it. Hit the like button. Join me every Saturday for the small engine live stream I do, 2 p.m. Eastern time. All the great small engine guys from around the world join us. We have a great time. Also, my buddy Arch. Arch's engine. I'll put his link in the comments there, but my buddy Arch is a great chat Saturday evening around 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern time. Mine's about 2 in the afternoon, so I try and get my European friends and friends from Australia and all over the world to join in because they're anywhere from 5, 6 to 13 hours difference from me. Arch gets on a little later at night, but he's got a hilarious stream. You're going to really enjoy it. I'll put the link. But anyway, that's it for now, guys. We'll talk to you soon.